I sense suffering here, Spirit. Do you need help?
A breakout hit from indie developer Ember Labs, don't let Kenna's cutesy art style fool you. This is an action-adventure that loves to test your patience. It can easily pass as a Souls-like game considering it requires a lot of dodging and learning enemy movesets. Pair it with its gorgeous Pixar-like animation, it's a fantastic game that revels in its beauty, but punishes the uninitiated.
He is not ready.
I am ready. Ben, I can be a Jedi. Ben, tell him I'm ready.
The ultimate LEGO Star Wars experience, all 9 major entries from this epic space opera are packed into one massive collection, each with their own LEGO twist. It's a breath of fresh air for Star Wars fans and a fantastic way to relive the series' iconic moments in a hilarious way. Everyone finally had their wish, a full-fledged Harry Potter RPG where we could be our own student and explore the wizarding world. Not even controversy can break it apart as it was hailed as the best-selling game last year. Hogwarts Legacy proved that there's still magic in its fandom, and fans are glad to return to their favorite fictional school. It's great to see a Grand Blue game standing out among other video game greats. Its humble mobile beginnings paved the way for Relink's big adventure. It's a story-driven adventure that doesn't have any gacha elements or microtransactions. It's a straightforward RPG packed with memorable characters, epic boss fights, and flashy real-time combat.
Solid, and come hit me.
House Marquee's expertise in shooters resulted into this award-winning roguelike. Returnal is among the first PlayStation 5 titles to push the limits of the system with its fast loading times and immersive DualSense haptics. It was met with critical acclaim all thanks to its non-stop moment-to-moment gameplay that showcased what the PS5 was capable of.
Finding our own end.
Codemasters F1 Racer has become as much as a yearly staple as the likes of FIFA, Madden, and NBA. In this F1, it brought a new spice to F1's formula that'll certainly be welcome in the next entry, such as a much-needed story mode. With all its new content and addition to the small details, F1 2021 is an upgrade to its predecessors and it's dedicated to all the Formula 1 fans out there. A spin-off to Kazuma Kiryu's Crazy Adventures, The Man Who Erased His Name is a pretty familiar game if you've played the other titles in the series. What sets it apart, however, is Kiryu's new toys to play with. Acting undercover has turned him into a super spy with high-tech gadgets that make him feel like Batman. One of Ubisoft's prize IPs gets a makeover after a decade. The Lost Crown twists the familiar platforming into a side-scrolling Metroidvania similar to games like Hollow Knight. Its tricky levels and challenging boss fights make room for unique experiences. As a result, it creates a refreshing entry point for new fans of the series.
Nice try. Enjoy the beach.
Arcane's latest IP dabbles in the time loop trope with their own signature style. Not only does it rekindle the stealth mission structures of Dishonored, it also has a plethora of sci-fi abilities to aid Colt in his quest to stop the sadistic experiment. This makes its first-person infiltrations fun to play around with, encouraging multiple ways to complete.
Very impressive.
The spin-off to RGG's Yakuza games offers a different perspective on a shared universe. This is all thanks to its fantastic cast of characters and energetic combat. While it is loosely connected to the main Yakuza story, Judgment has enough charm to warrant its standalone experience. It's a dark and gritty detective game set in Kamurocho's seedy underbelly.
There's only one way out of this, guys.
Miles Morales' solo debut was also part of Sony's goal to show what the PlayStation 5 was made for. It was a successful standalone entry that not only gave us faster loading times and better performance, it also gave us a new understanding on Miles' character before his return to Spider-Man 2.
Find some way to stop Dr. Octavius.
Let's go. It's time to capture a kingdom.
Ubisoft's long list of Assassin's Creed games got bigger and bigger after each entry. Valhalla is the biggest AC game to date, and that doesn't even include its expansions. Relive the glory days of the Viking Age as Ivor and explore 9th century Europe. This massive map is home to many hours of exploration and conquest for longtime fans of the series. Sackboy returns and he's out on a big solo adventure, assuming you don't play multiplayer. Hop between dimensions and save your beloved craft world from Vex's evil hands. Made for kids and kids at heart, this Little Big Planet spin-off is packed with creative platforming levels that ooze with wonder and charm. The sequel to the Yakuza spin-off that we just talked about, Lost Judgment continues Yagami's story as he goes on to solve more murder mystery cases at the expense of his morality. With improved gameplay, there's much fun to be had when dealing with thugs, investigating, and solving mysteries. You can even get a dog to help you out on your detective work. The cute cat game that got everyone obsessed 2 years ago, Stray's dystopian setting is made better with its adorable cast robots in search of their humanity. There are a lot of emotional parts packed into a short game time, and that's how Stray found its success. It's all about a cat finding its way home. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's perfect for players who love cats and a good story. Cal Kestis' next adventure takes him to a darker path. Jedi Survivor is the first Star Wars game to have a semi-open world map, opening new possibilities for exploration using Force powers. This makes this sequel a major improvement from the original. Part of its latest features are the addition of new lightsaber stances that turn you into a menace to the Empire. This fresh Souls-like from NeoWiz filled the hole for a Bloodborne remaster. Lies of P successfully replicated what makes the Souls games good. Its gameplay is sharp, the boss fights are intense, and its story has a lot of room for interpretation through lore books. And despite being another clone of its contemporaries, it still has legs to stand on as an original project with more fairy tale Souls-likes in their pipeline. It wouldn't be a PlayStation 5 list without Sony's beloved racing game. Gran Turismo 7 is by far their best Gran Turismo game to date. It's a celebration of the racing genre with more customization options, great multiplayer, and a VR mode for deeper immersion.
Go to hell!
The second chapter of A Plague Tale might keep you occupied if you're not terrified of rats. It's a major upgrade from its original with more reasons to care about the relationship between our hardened protagonists. Requiem's blend of third-person action and stealth gameplay offer enough tension as Amicia and Hugo endure Europe's dark ages.
Which one, not them? What is wrong with me?
For an indie game, Dredge has surged up the charts where a lot of AAA games fumbled. The seemingly simple game about fishing hides an ominous twist. The Lovecraftian horrors that await at nightfall turns Dredge into a nightmarish voyage. This deadly combination is a surprisingly fresh idea for modern gaming.
I'm Captain Kisara of the Elder Guard.
Considered the biggest Tales game to date, it finally broke free from the in-universe stories of Berseria and Zestiria. Arise set a new stage for a fresh cast of characters and a massive world to explore. Praised by many for its improvements in real-time combat, using character abilities on the fly makes encounters feel seamless and engaging throughout its 40+ hours of content.
Looks like we've got our work cut out for us. Ready?
What do you think?
The latest mainline Final Fantasy had a lot of things to prove. 16 managed to do just fine, exceeding everyone's expectations. It's an action-packed adventure with crazy boss fights and a stellar soundtrack. The fast-paced hack-and-slash combat provides a much-needed momentum to complement Clive's slow-burn story.
Let's see how special you are.
Ethan Winter's second horror adventure takes him to a village of terrors. Resident Evil increased the tension of its first-person survival horror with a varied palette of monsters to take down. It also serves as the final chapter of Ethan's story as well as a stepping stone for the series' future titles.
Poor Ethan.
No one was prepared for Hideo Kojima's next game after Metal Gear. Death Stranding is a one-of-a-kind video game that gives us a glimpse into Kojima's eccentric mind. This director's cut is made for PS5 players with better performance, new toys, and more story beats to uncover in its crazy post-apocalyptic world. This is also a great starting point for anyone hyped over Death Stranding 2's latest trailer.
You remember me? Yeah. You remember me.
The second chapter to Ellie and Joel's story, Part 2 subverts player expectations with an uncomfortable cycle of revenge narrative. It's a gut punch through and through, and it's even better with this PlayStation 5 remaster. This includes a handful of bonus content, including director commentaries, lost levels, and a roguelike mode for some much-needed clicker killing.
You ready to climb the wall?
From Software achieved the impossible, making more players interested in their niche mecha game. The fires of Rubicon spread like wildfire last year, introducing players to its complex mecha customizations and epic boss fights. Thankfully, this entry is much more accessible for new players to enjoy, and they can just hop into 621's core whenever they want. Dante Nero's next adventure was on hiatus for a decade and a half. With Devil May Cry 5's release in 2020, it was met with universal acclaim because it gave fans the Dante that they wanted. Capcom's character action franchise is even better this time with the RE engine to back it up. This makes combat much more seamless, and the 4 major playable characters offer their own unique strengths on the battlefield.
Time to finish this, Virgil. Let's settle this.
Now then, you ready for this?
Capcom fans have been eating good these past few years, and now Street Fighter fans are stoked to have their favorite fighting game back in the limelight. Our roster of fighters have never looked better. It's also made accessible for new fans to adjust to the growing popularity of fighting games. Now everyone can just drop in and enjoy without worrying about being competitive. A love letter to fans of the RPG genre, Sea of Stars is a game that knows their audience. What Sabotage Studios delivered is a blend of old school and modern RPG, all coated in a vibrant retro art style. It's hard to say that this is a nostalgia trip since this is a completely original work, but Sea of Stars' familiar trappings of classic JRPGs are what makes the game great. The definitive version of Square Enix's modern retelling of Final Fantasy VII Remake was a major success when it came out in 2020. It proved that there's still a lot of players interested in Cloud and Friend's quest to stop Sephiroth. With Intergrade, its improved visual fidelity and game performance adds more polish to their adventures in Midgar. Plus, this edition also comes with Yuffie's adventure. Claude and Rena's return is a breeze of nostalgia for fans who've been waiting for them after all these years. The Star Ocean series are special games for veteran JRPG fans, and this remake of the PlayStation Classic maintains the same science fiction story, but with new voice acting and an improved 2.5D art style. PlayStation's best samurai game is perfected with this director's cut. Jin Sakai's story of revenge and redemption is amazing on the PlayStation 5. The open world of the island of Tsushima is teeming with gorgeous landscapes to explore and Mongols to decimate. This not only comes with visual and performance enhancements, the Iki Island DLC also adds a whole new area to explore, bringing more depth to Jin's character. The multi-character journey of Octopath Traveler is improved in its sequel. The dynamic interactions between their stories merge into a riveting JRPG adventure spanning over 60 hours. Alongside its 2.5D visual style and fantastic soundtrack, it's inching its way to becoming one of the best JRPGs of the modern era. The next King of the Iron Fist tournament adds a new flavor to the FGC. Tekken 8's new Heat system encourages aggressive plays, offering more dynamic matchups against its roster of new and old faces. It's a game so content-rich it includes a main story campaign, seamless online mode, a Tekken lounge, and a whole lot of character customizations. A much-needed reimagining to Naughty Dog's award-winning game, the goal is to complement Part 2's style. Part 1 successfully integrates the immersive visual detail of Part 2, as well as making its combat more realistic. Much of Part 2's quality of life improvements are present here, making this the definitive way to experience Ellie and Joel's budding relationship in a broken world. The Decima engine continues to push the PS5 like never before. Forbidden West's breathtaking open world is a photo mode haven. From the barren wastelands of Las Vegas to the urban jungle of San Francisco, Aloy's latest journey takes her to the West Coast in search of humanity's hope. With the Burning Shores DLC, you can soak in more sights and take down ferocious machines in the lava-soaked California. Insomniac's dynamic duo returns, and they're bringing in the best of what the PlayStation 5 can offer, apart from their guns. Rift Apart is a dimension-hopping action game with no loading times. It's among the first games to boast how fast the new-gen games are. It's the ideal game for first-time PS5 users, making good use of its SSD capabilities and the DualSense haptics.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head?
Alan Wake returns after being stuck in the dark for 13 years, literally and figuratively. The sequel transforms the original supernatural action to a full-blown survival horror. Now with its dual protagonist story, there's double the mysteries in Bright Falls. If you're still not sold on this game, maybe this horror game dance sequence will convince you. Speaking of horror, Dead Space's necromorphs remain a constant threat as we make our way across the claustrophobic halls of the USG Ishimura. This remake amps up the terrors to 11, providing realistic lighting for that extra layer of terrifying immersion. Now we can't wait for what's in store if they plan to remake Dead Space 2. The first Souls game is remade and playable for the PlayStation 5. Demon's Souls influenced a generation of games where exploration and difficulty go hand in hand. This Demon's Souls was the first PlayStation 5 exclusive, but it doesn't hold back on its impressive visual upgrades. Bluepoint turned this 2009 classic into a modern technical marvel. It looks good, plays good, and it sounds good. Atlas' edgy PlayStation 2 hit has finally unsealed itself for modern audiences. Its story remains true to its original, but now with a fully voiced cast that makes the game much more appealing. Reload is an essential remake of this timeless RPG masterpiece, and we're glad it has seen the light of day. The extra content and remixed music is a refreshing addition for new and old fans.
Yeah, let's do this.
The latest Yakuza game is a treasure trove of mini-games that could give Mario Party a run for its money. It's a complete package of all things great about the Yakuza series. Infinite Wealth continues Kazuma Kiryu and Kasuga Ichiban's stories. The many distractions of Hawaii and its zany characters can get you lost into its vortex of shenanigans.
We're going to heal the world.
Peter Parker and Miles Morales' shared responsibilities come together in this sequel. Spider-Man 2 adds Venom and Kraven to the Rogues Gallery, putting the Spider-Man in more danger than ever. The jam-packed action sequences won't be possible without PlayStation 2's hardware. Fast loading times, smooth web swinging, and polished visuals makes us feel the highs of being a friendly neighborhood superhero.
We can fight this together!
Supergiant etched its name in gaming history as talented indie devs, all thanks to Hades' success. This godlike roguelike provides enough content for hardcore and casual fans of the genre. There are plenty of tools to help Zagreus in his perpetual escape from his father's underworld. As a result, it's a gateway to procedurally generated fun. It never seems to lose its fire even after several runs.
Hang in there, Ashley. I'm coming for you.
Capcom's best Resident Evil remake to date, Leon Kennedy's mission to save the president's daughter is a terrifying and campy survival horror experience. It's basically the same game, but this time it's powered by the RE engine. This makes for more realistic visual fidelity with immersive lighting, adding more dread as you turn every corner. It's a celebration of the series' strengths, and it's a clear setup for what lies in store for its future remakes. The second chapter to Square's planned trilogy of Final Fantasy VII. We haven't played it yet, but early reviews are calling it the best of the series so far. Most of its praise comes from its scale. The open-world appeal fits the original style without removing its iconic parts. There's a lot of improvements in combat and storytelling that is only possible with this 2-disc title.
Well, Red, how do we look?
From Software's multi-award-winning action RPG has made its way to the upper echelons of gaming. Elden Ring turns the Souls-like genre into an open-world delight. The amount of content stored in its massive world map can't even compare to most modern AAA titles. The Lands Between is a place where difficult bosses and gorgeous landscapes collide. How much more can we explore once Shadow of the Erdtree drops this June?
May we meet again.
No shame in what just happened. It's all part of the process. Let's go again!
The Wrath of the Nordic Gods culminate in this epic sequel to Sony Santa Monica's beloved action game. Kratos and Atreus' worry isn't just about the end of times, it's about their own relationship too. Ragnarok mixes amazing action sequences with a personal storytelling that resonates with its variety of audiences. Plus, the recent free edition of its Valhalla update gives players a reason to find out Kratos' long-awaited redemption.
Who are you?
You know who I am.
Geralt of Rivia's story comes to a close in The Wild Hunt. This complete edition contains 2 of their massive DLCs, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. These expansions add a huge chunk of story to enjoy and places to explore, as well as adding new depth to our favorite Witcher characters. Apart from that, this also serves as an enhanced edition that improves on its lighting and performance.
Bow before me. Bow before the absolute. Bow!
After taking the crown for our top 50 best PC games, Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3 has also dominated this PS5 chart. This grand RPG is how a video game should be. No microtransactions, no live service, and no unfinished plot points. It's a complete package from the get-go, giving players enough agency to make their own choices, ultimately creating a unique experience for every journey taken. Cast of well-rounded characters wouldn't be possible without its strong writing. The growing relationship between party members is a highlight that most fans will still talk about in the years to come.
Just wait till you see Baldur's Gate. You'll never want to leave.